I'm going to actually go over what is our cheapest animal to keep all the way up to our most expensive animal to keep. Trust me, we have a lot of animals and there's a lot to cover, so let's jump in. Before we get started, there are a lot of variables with each animal. I mean, bearded dragon, blue-tongued skink, Tyson down here. What I'm going to do is generalize the best I possibly can so that you guys get an idea. If you want a pet reptile or a pet animal that we keep here at the Reptarium, you get an idea of what it costs. And believe it or not, it's going to be an adult corn snake. That's right. In particular, an adult corn snake that is down here in our breeding center. They don't eat all year. They go into brumation. Now, we pay about 35 cents for a frozen adult mouse, right? Now, I know that might be cheap because we're buying in quantity and it's wholesale. Maybe you're paying $1 or whatever the case may be. But at 35 cents, we're feeding this adult, beautiful palmetto corn snake 2 mice a week. That's right. We feed twice a week an adult mouse. So it essentially costs us about 70 cents. Now, you think 70 cents times 52 weeks, you know, that gets into about $35 or so. But we're actually not feeding 52 weeks of the year. They go off of food for a month because these guys go into brumation for 3 months, and then it takes about 2 or 3 weeks before they go back onto food and are feeding again. So in actuality, they're probably only feeding about 7 months of the year, 7, maybe a little bit more than that. So when you break that down, it's literally only about $20 worth of food that goes into taking care of an adult breeder corn snake that's going to go into brumation like this absolutely gorgeous animal here. Now, of course, we have some bedding and we have some care and we have electricity. So if we say $20 worth of food, let's go ahead and round up to say $30 for this snake to be cared for the entire season. Well, you're probably saying to yourself, well, Brian, if an adult corn snake only costs about $30 to care for, a baby corn snake would be even cheaper, right? Because obviously a pinky mouse will be less expensive than an adult mouse, which, by the way, this is an extreme albino reverse Okatee, and whoo, doggy, is that thing absolutely gorgeous. And you'd be right in the fact that a pinky mouse does only cost about 20 to 25 cents, depending on what you're doing. Now, the difference is we still are feeding these guys twice a week, and we are feeding them 52 weeks of the year, because even if you're going to breed a corn snake, it usually takes 1.5 to 2.5 years of feeding where you don't brumate, so you are feeding 52 weeks a year. So not only do you have 52 weeks of feeding, but you also have 52 weeks of changing the bedding and the water and paying for labor if you have that, as well as electricity. So a baby corn snake still isn't a lot more expensive, but it does cost more than an adult corn snake if it's a breeder. But you may be asking yourself, what if it's not a breeder? And you'd be asking the right question, because that's right, if you have an adult rat snake, corn snake, king snake, colubrid, and basically I was talking about corn snakes, but it's all colubrids more or less, as long as they're eating mice. Of course, if you're not breeding them like Joker here, you're going to be feeding them all year long. So that basically extends that 7-month window to a 12-month window, because Joker eats twice a week, every single week, 52 weeks of the year. Not to mention we have the care of taking care of him, cleaning his cage the extra few months, because when colubrids are in brumation, they basically just need fresh water, and that's it. So they don't soil the bedding at all. You don't have to worry about that, and of course you don't have any electricity because you're cooling the place off. So certainly when you have a non-breeder colubrid, whether it's a rat snake, a corn snake, a king snake, whichever the case may be, again, you have about another 5 months of care into them, which brings that cost of $30 up to about $50 to $55 for care for the entire year. But you may be noticing, hey, if you want a pet snake, it's pretty cheap, right? Even if you have a colubrid that you're not going to brumate, to have a pet animal that only costs you 50, 60 bucks a year, that's a really good bargain, and that's one of the reasons why reptiles are so popular and so awesome. Moving on to another really popular pet snake, and that would, of course, be the ball python. In this case, Honey, the piebald ball python. Now, it is a little bit tricky because ball pythons sometimes do go off of food, but Honey and a lot of our ball pythons here at the Reptarium eat year-round. So I'm going to just say what it would cost year-round. A medium rat costs about $1.50, right in that price range. And you got to feed them once a week. Now, they're probably not going to eat 52 weeks out of the year because they might be in shed or something like that, or they could go on a fast like ball pythons do. But certainly you're going to feed them probably about 45 to 50 times per year at $1.50 per feeding. So you're going to have somewhere about $70, $75 into actual food. And then, of course, you have the bedding and you have the care, and of course you need a little bit more electricity because ball pythons need a little bit more heat than, say, colubrids do. So it costs a little bit more. I'm going to round up to about $100 a year for a ball python. Sticking with that popular pet animal, of course, there's nothing more iconic than a bearded dragon. They are such amazing animals, but they do take a little bit more care than, say, an adult corn snake and something like that. We're not only feeding super, we're feeding roaches, some other stuff like every now and then hornworms and silkworms. And again, we're giving them veggies every single day as well. So bearded dragons, because they're a daily eater, and we give them a lot of variety, do cost a little bit more money. It costs about $150 for the actual food per year for one bearded dragon. That's if you're giving, again, crickets and all the other stuff, and you want to really vary your diet to keep your bearded dragon really healthy. So the food alone is about $150, but then you have the lighting as well, because you need a UV light as well as a basking light. You want a good hot spot in there, 100 degrees, 110 degrees, so that they can really bask if they want to. So a hot side, a cool side. So you're going to be using up some electricity as well. So that's going to tack on another $25, maybe even $30 $30 per year in cost. So I'm gonna say average, you're looking at maybe $150 to $175 per year to keep an adult bearded dragon healthy and happy. Then you got this little monkey right here, or any of our tortoises for that matter. They are little monsters when it comes to food, and variety is really important for these guys too. He loves all kinds of greens, as well as we feed him Missouri tortoise chow as well. So we want to vary it up. So about 3 days a week they get Missouri chow, and about 3 days a week they get vegetables, but they get lots of different vegetables. I mean, from, you know, again, kale to romaine lettuce, carrots and sweet potatoes, all kinds of stuff. And look at that cute face. He definitely eats a lot. And depending on the size of the tortoise, of course, depends on the amount of food that you're going to actually give to him. A sulcata is going to be a lot more expensive than, say, a redfoot tortoise. And then, of course, Matilda is going to be more expensive than a sulcata because she's going to eat more volume. But let's just say on average, we probably spend anywhere from $250 to $300 per tortoise per year just on veggies and food for these guys, because they are monsters and we absolutely love them. Speaking of food, Mike and Connie here are loaded up. What is this for? This is for everything or for the tortoises?
For everybody. We've got some, like, what do they call these? Leafy green? Dark greens?
Mustard greens and stuff?
Yeah, so those will go to, like, the tortoises. I have some next door. I've got some here. Spring mix we usually use for, like, the iguanas and stuff. The carrots and the zucchinis, and we have a sweet potato will go for everybody.
Again, lots of food. This is just our daily allowance here, and that's just here at this place. Again, Matilda at home eats a ton as well. How much does it cost to feed salt and pepper alligators per year? They love to eat. Come on, Salt. Good job, Salty. There you go, Pepper. Up. There you go, Pepper. Well, we feed these guys a lot of variety as well. Here you go, Salt. Put back in there, you silly monkey, you. So we'll feed them chicken, we'll feed them steak, we'll feed them whole body rodents and stuff like that. Growing like mad, there's no doubt about that. Oh, there you go. Come on, Pepper. Oh! And these guys are gonna feed a few, 3-4 times a week, and they eat a lot of food, there's no doubt about it. I'm not even gonna talk about the electricity and everything that goes into the enclosure, but you're looking at somewhere between $400 and $500 in food for each alligator that you have that is about the size of Salt and Pepper. How about the giant monitor lizards? Come here, Elvis. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There you go, buddy. Well, we do the same thing for these guys as we do the alligators, almost on the same regiment, to be honest with you. Here you go. These guys just, of course, are target trained on this ball. And of course, Elvis is an absolutely wonderful animal. But again, chicken, beef, you know, we'll do fish, we'll do prawns, we'll do food-bodied rodents, we'll do a whole bunch of different things. So these guys typically, whoop, he's seen the ball. He's like, I get more food. We're done with the ball, buddy. We're done with the ball. All done with the ball. I'm sorry, buddy. I know I should have never showed you that. Monitor lizards this size, again, are gonna cost probably about the same, somewhere between $400 and $500 a year per monitor lizard. Of course, as they get bigger, they eat more. Smaller ones are gonna be cheaper. Now we get into the giant snakes, like my girl Lucy here. Lucy, I'm not gonna mess with you, I promise, girl. Juliet over here, they're absolutely amazing, but they do eat a lot. They eat rabbits, obviously. And we feed these guys pretty much every single week, every 7 to 10 days, right in that range. And they're eating 8 to 10 pounds worth of rabbits each time, sometimes even a little bit more. Lucy last time ate like 15 pounds of rabbit, and she still looks like she's ready for more. You gotta remember, rabbits aren't cheap because not only do they cost about $2 per pound, but they also need to be shipped, which costs a bunch of money as well. So essentially, you have, say, a 10-pound rabbit, you have somewhere between about $25 into that. So if you're gonna feed once a week here, again, 25 times 52, again, you're not gonna feed all 52 weeks because they're gonna be in sheds sometime. Maybe they're gonna refuse meal every now and then, go on a fast and so like that. But nevertheless, you're looking at about $800 or so to feed these guys. Like Juliet here, she's gonna get at least $800 worth of food, or Lucy there. I mean, it's worth it to me, but again, it starts to add up when you have a lot of animals. You start to get that thing going where, hey, if you want a giant snake, big responsibility and pretty good money. $1,000 a year is probably what it's going to cost you to keep it. Then, of course, you get into mammals like Javi, my capybara right here. Anyone that keeps a dog or a cat knows how expensive it is to keep a dog or a cat because they're eating constantly. And look at Javi. Javi just jumps right up in my lap. He's absolutely incredible. And of course, we have Sid right over here, his little roommate over here. But again, these guys have to be fed every single day. Now, these guys actually get almost like a guinea pig type of food, but it's a zoo food that they actually get that we wet down just a little bit. But then we have all kinds of fruits and veggies, not only for treats, but also for variety. And I tell you what, they love it. And you got to remember that Javi is just a little guy right now, even though he's getting much, much bigger. He's eventually going to get, 150 pounds. So it's going to cost even more. Then, of course, there's Sid. Absolutely amazing. The crested porcupine from Africa. I love this little guy so much. I mean, what an absolutely beautiful animal. Of course, Sid isn't going to get as big as Javi. Sid is only going to max out at maybe 50 or 60 pounds, where Javi is going to go, 3 times that size. Oh, he got a little bit scared. Come on, buddy. buddy. It's okay. And we have to spend a lot of time with these guys. Sid actually eats a formula that's from Missouri to another zoo diet, as well as loves veggies and stuff like that. And up until just a few weeks ago, he was also getting milk too. We're having to bottle feed this guy every 4 hours. So all around the clock, we have to have someone come in and bottle feed him. He's just absolutely incredible. Look at how beautiful he is. Look at you. And he loves to lick you. I mean, I tell you what, Sid is absolutely amazing. But again, like I mentioned, mammals cost money. But Javi and Sid certainly do require a tremendous amount of not only food, but care too. We have to clean their Timothy hay out almost every single day, keep them happy, not to mention the amount of hours we spend with them to keep them docile and stuff like that. It's very important to spend a tremendous amount of time. Absolutely gorgeous animals to keep them habituated. So we probably are spending about $1,500 per animal per year on these already. Again, as they get bigger, they're only going to eat more, and they're actually going to cost us a lot more. Who knows? Maybe it's going to cap out at $2,000, $2,500 a year per animal, but they're so worth it. So there you have it, my cheapest, the most expensive animal. Let me know down in the comments what the list you thought was actually going to be the most expensive or the cheapest. Spend a little time with my guy Javi here, and have an amazing day, and I hope you guys do too. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember... Bad aim,